All right, cool guys. I'm back on PC. I was downstairs for a bit eating dinner, but we're back, and I'm gonna let me have the game run now. I don't know why it's not. No, I do know why, but I just haven't changed it yet. I gotta go to properties, and then I gotta set it to capture game and capture audio. Let me set it to a different window real quick. Discard and changes. Uh, Minimize that. Add that back in. Oh, you know what? It closed out. That's why. So we should be good. I just forgot that it exited out. I'm gonna pull up I'm gonna pull up some videos we can watch while we're playing. It might just be like gaming stuff, trying to steer clear of the controversial stuff that's going on in the world. I don't really like to show controversial stuff. I don't mind like if it's like deep topics, but I just prefer to steer clear of controversial shit just because I don't like it. It's annoying. I don't know what we're gonna watch. Let's see what we'll watch. I'll queue up a few videos so that I like the channels though. So this is a good channel. This is a EU5 video, and we'll do this one because it's trading, and I like trading, and I do trading every day. So okay, let's see if we got anything else though. Okay, oh, so that's kind of interesting because I haven't noticed this. Okay, give me a second, guys. I'm just queuing up some videos for us to watch. Also, I'm gonna add in a Manor Lords video to the queue, because I'm not entirely sure if I want to buy it, but I do want to look into it because it's on sale, and I don't know how long it's on sale for. So we'll check that out. Okay, I got a good queue going for us for the rest of the live. So let me launch EU4 now, and we're gonna run that for the rest of the night. I do enjoy these lives. I really do. You know, it's like it's pretty relaxing. It's just chill. Just chill, bro. Just chill, bro. Gotta chill. But yeah, I I just find them relaxing to just watch some YouTube and play some games. And I wouldn't mind doing that with um, you know, friends. So you're all welcome to join. And yeah, I just it's just relaxing for me. But yeah, we'll get started on that, and got the queue queued up, and let me put it in mini player. Um, tab this out, tab this out into mini player, whatever it's called. Where is it? I'll open a separate window for that actually, because I don't want to have that on nothing but queue right there. Give me a second, guys. I'm just getting my setup all set up. I got OBS. I'll pull Kick and YouTube onto the other panel. Kick and Twitch, I mean, not YouTube. So I can see the live. Oh, hold on. Give me a second, guys. I'm just setting things up. The fuck was that? I have no idea what that was. That noise. Oh, that was my headset saying it's low on battery. Okay, I need to charge this tomorrow. And if it dies, we can just swap over to the wired headset, but that one's way less comfortable because when the headphones fell off. Okay, give me a second. I pull Twitch, and then we're gonna start on the live. And put this in picture in picture. I don't know why it won't show up the picture in picture thing. Oh well, whatever, it's fine. Let me mute all these Twitch and Kick and everything. Okay. Pull my dashboard real quick on Twitch. Okay, we're good. Mute everything else. And pull up this last page that I want to have open just for myself. Guys, if you ever want a good scanner, go to openmegahertz.com. Or I think it's .com, yeah. Open megahertz, and then yeah. So it's like open MHC, and yeah, it's a good one. It's it's got a lot more than the regular ones too. I just like them because I like knowing on what's going on in my area, and the news isn't worth jack shit. To know what's going on in the area. Plus, you can find about where the sideshows are and shit for that. I don't go to the sideshows, but I like to know where they are just so I can like not get fucking hit if I ever did like some weekend cruise or whatever. Because sometimes I like cruising on the weekend, and it's just fun to go cruising. But you know, sometimes me and my friends and mostly a certain couple friends, my brother, a couple other friends. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna pull this up. I don't want to broadcast this though. The scanner, fuck the scanner, dude.
Okay.
Okay.
Kiwanis is a no-show. For copy so far. Copy so far.
I think we got it all set up, guys. So we're gonna launch.
8197.
Okay, it's got some work on the
3197.
window. Give me a second.
So.
I'm gonna change the input on this window.
1195.
Oops.
42. I think due to the phone issues we're having, we're unable to transfer to you. RP still standing by field 4 of the Indian Juvenile.
We're gonna mute that window. We're gonna change an audio capture. YouTube, OIT, not 1 megahertz. We want this one, YouTube. And then I'm gonna change it to opening Steam. There we go. Got this shit set up. Sorry about that. I was taking some Advil because I had a headache. I didn't get that much sleep recently, so I was taking a bit of Advil. Plus, you know how when you wear a headset for a long time, you get a headache. I don't know if that happens to you guys, but it happens to me. What the fuck was? Fuck off. Add the next to the queue. Gotta disable my VPN. It's not letting me send to Steam. Give me a second, guys. I'm trying to sign in, but I had my VPN enabled since yesterday, and now Steam's glitching the fuck out. Fuck off. Stupid fucking Steam.
Can you repeat that? I'll be clear of that call today.
I'm gonna disable the scanner. I don't want to fucking mess with that right now. It's grim as fuck. There's a big ass protest in my city, and I wasn't even really trying to listen to that because I know people on either side are gonna have opinions, but um, I just like to know what's going on in the area. But yeah, let's get this shit started. This is taking too fucking long. I'm finally sending to Steam, so let's just fucking get this shit started. Oh fuck, I want to launch Victoria 3. Let's play U4, not Vic 3. Okay, cool. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think I should do. Should I buy I'm thinking I kind of want to buy. Let's have some Steam money because I'll like occasionally let that random banana game where you can earn fucking like in-game little token shits. So what I'll do is I'll let that run in the background on my old PC, and then launch the game first, and then what I do is I just let it run in the background, and then I don't know why it keeps making that noise. It's annoying. Anyway. Oh, it's a stupid Omen gaming hub, maybe. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. 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 Oh, that's why I fucking stopped streaming. I don't know if it did or not. What the fuck? Bro, what the fuck? Hey Siri, stop playing on Jackson Fox. Okay, cool. Mic is working, game audio is working. Let's get the. Oh, we have two mics. Okay. I need two mics. Okay. I think we're set up. Good. I need to optimize my feeds before going live next time. But sorry about that, guys. Anyway, it is what it is. Can't change that now. So let's just get started on this, dude. I'm fucking so looking forward to this because I feel like this campaign was going pretty good. I didn't really. I don't know. I feel like streaming from a Steam Deck is not optimal yet, so we're not gonna do that in the future. And I know I don't have the game up yet. By the way, I need to change the scene on this one more time. So just can't do that yet. Right way. Okay, there we go. And actually, let me just charge my headset before we go live, so it's not like cutting out in the middle of the live stream, and then I can swap back over for tomorrow. probably got a little bit of battery left, right? Anyway, it's fine. Okay, let's get started on the Florence campaign. Florence in the machine.
I'm telling you what, all the stuff they're finding, what they've been doing with our tax dollars, like all this corruption stuff going on in the government, it has really reshaped the way I think about money. They basically just treat our money like monopoly money. They print as much as they want, they go out and buy whatever the heck they want with it, and they don't care because there's no repercussions for them. They can just use the money however they want. And I think there's a really big lesson that we can take away from this, and that is the way that we view money is completely backwards. It's almost like how they flipped the food pyramid upside down. Like all the things we believe is healthy when it comes to food actually aren't healthy, and the things that we're told aren't healthy are actually the things that are healthy. It's that same kind of concept, because we have this scarcity mindset around money where we think it's so hard to come by, and we have to bust our butts and work our entire lives to maybe one day get ahead so that we can retire out at 65 or 70 years old and live out the remaining 5 to 10 years of our life, hopefully living our dreams and doing the things that we've been putting off for our entire lives. But in most cases, we never get to that point. And if we do, we have 5 to 10 years left, and then we're in the dirt. So that's our mindset around money. It's very hard to come by. We have to work extremely hard to get it. In a lot of cases, it's an enigma. It's just something that escapes us. We can't grasp, we can't get our hands around, and we can't fully understand how it works, how to obtain more of it. But apparently with these people, you know, these people that are basically just blowing our tax dollars, our hard-earned money, they have a completely different mindset. The way they view money is that they can print as much as they want, and they can do with it what they please because they can always get more. And for them to get more, all they have to do is just wave a magic wand, apparently. So what that's really got me thinking about is, why is it that we don't have that power? Why can't we have that same kind of mindset around money? And a lot of people will say, well, it's because we can't print our own. We don't have trillions of dollars of tax dollars coming at us every single year. That is a fair point. But let's think about it this way, all right? There's been a big push to divide this nation over the last, say, 10, 15 years or so. And it's worked very well. They've divided us. Essentially, we're divided over everything. We're divided over any kind of ideologies, mindset, race, religion. We're divided about food, what kind of stuff you should be eating. We're divided about everything. And I think that's intentional, and it's happening for a very strategic reason. And that reason is because they know that we are much stronger together. They know that divided, we will fall. Divided, we have no power, but united, they fear us. They fear what we're capable of. They fear us coming together over a common cause and taking back what belongs to us, taking back our rights, taking back our power. Because each and every one of us, we do hold the power for change. We hold the power to create the world of our dreams, but we can only do that if we're all united and we can all come together over that common cause. So how does that relate to money? All right, this is where it gets very, very interesting, and this is what I've really been pondering about. So let's say that we have 1 million people. Let's say that we build a community of 1 million people. And in today's modern age, that's not very hard to do. There's all kinds of influencers on social media and people that do podcasts, and there's all kinds of celebrities and just all kinds of normal, average, everyday people that have millions and millions of subscribers and followers. So let's say we take one of those people that has 1 million followers. And let's say that those 1 million followers, every single one of them donates a single dollar a day to a fundraising account. All right, just $1 a day, that's only $7 a week, $30 or $31 a month, or $365 a year. Most people can't afford that. Most people could afford to spend $1 a day. Matter of fact, most people waste that in grabbing a coffee or something like that every day. They waste 5 or 10 times that every single day just by going out and getting coffee. So most people could pull that amount of change together if they just rounded up their everyday expenses. So let's say that's the case. These 1 million people, they committed to donating a single dollar a day for the next year. Think about what that really means. That means that you would have an account that you could literally hand out $1 million and make someone in that community a millionaire every single day for an entire year. Think about that. You could have 365 millionaires in a year's time just by people donating $1. There are $2.36 trillion in circulation right now. And when you hear the word trillion, you're like, that's a lot of money. It's almost incomprehensible how much money that actually is. It is an astronomical amount of money. And if you think about that, there's enough money to go around and make a large majority of this population filthy freaking rich. So, I mean, let's take it a step back. Let's say that there was only 100,000 people in this community, in this tribe, and they all donated $1 every single day for a year. You could make 10 people $10,000 every single day for an entire year. Or if you wanted to scale it back less than that, you could hand out $1,000 to 100 people every single day for an entire year. That's literally just $1,000 going out to 100 people just because people are donating $1 into this fund. And again, $1 is not that much. In the grand scheme of things, just throwing away $1 every single day is not really that much money. And most of us waste a lot more than that in stupid materialistic stuff that we don't need and will probably never use every single day. Think about that. That is where our power lies, is the fact that if we pool our resources together and we come together and we unite, we have the power to create a reality for ourselves that is one we can only dream of. And that's what this whole situation has made me realize, is that they basically play Monopoly with our money. They act like it's a big game, so why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we play the same game and just take it for what it is? Because it is a big game. That's all it really is. It's things like this and thinking outside the box and coming together and uniting over something common that gives us our power back and allows us to think like them. It allows us to get out of this scarcity mindset, because when you think about it in those simple terms, money is very easy to come by. I mean, if you can just hand out that amount of money just by somebody donating a single $1 a day and change that many people's lives just by donating money, that is a very, very powerful thing. I've come to realize what's really important. And what's really important is not working your entire life to get money so that you can have more materialistic stuff. Life isn't about having more stuff. It should actually be about needing less. Because if you need less, then you don't have to chase as much money. You don't have to always be hustling and going after these things. And you can use that time to do something more meaningful, something that actually brings you meaning and purpose in life, something that gives you a sense of direction. Because once you realize that money is not a scarcity and that it's a lot easier to come by than what we've been led to believe, and all this stuff that we believe is important isn't actually important, and we're focused on the wrong things, that's a paradigm shift. That's enough to change people's lives.
With the Amex Gold Card, every meal is a reward. Whether you decide to stay in or go all out, earn rewards on everyday meals with the Amex Gold Card.
Don't hurt him, Kev. All dripped up. Got the new iPhone 17 Pro, and Verizon picked up the tab on the best 5G network, baby.
No way.
It's me. Handsome and hilarious.
No way.
Ooh.
No way.
Wait, that was about the iPhone? Come on.
Get the new iPhone 17 Pro and a new iPad and Apple One, all on us, on the best 5G network.
That's real nice.
Hey folks, today we're covering Tinto Talks 83, and that's going to cover a late game mechanic, the Revolution, which also gives its name to the Age of Revolutions, the last age of the game as well. And this is going to cover how they work in your realm, the events around it, and then also the structural content that you'll see as well. So the Revolution in EU5 is a disaster that can happen to a settled country that is a great power, that has embraced the Enlightenment institution and has an average literacy higher than 50%, and whose peasant estate satisfaction is low, or whose peasant or burgher estate is taxed heavily. So a couple of different ways this can play out. I do think most of those requirements probably going to be hit in most of your campaigns. It depends what you're doing. We've talked about this before, like how high you want to get your literacy. You may think your literacy being very high is very good, but in some situations you actually want to keep your population not that smart, or maybe just certain parts of your realm not that smart, so that they don't get ideas above their station and think of revolution. So the size of the revolution depends on many factors, such as stability, absolutism, literacy, and discontent. So again, all these different areas of the game that can affect it. And you can see the event here: insurrection in Paris, King Philippe VI, decades of feudal oppression, religious intolerance, and unjust taxation have all contributed to the revolutionary moments beginning to surface across our lands. And obviously France being the main example of this historically, I suppose, and the one they're going to base a lot of this around in this dev diary, and you'll see that as we go through. So dire times are ahead for us, and then you can see what this does: -20 stability, approximately 1.1 million population across 8 provinces will join the French revolutionaries. Prosperity in Paris will decrease by 15%. And then the French revolutionaries, they will create a civil war, and they will obviously also become revolutionary as well. And then you can see the definition of this next. The revolution is a unique transformation of the society of a country during the Age of Revolutions. States that go through the revolution and fail to defend their absolute state become revolutionary, granting them access to powerful actions, reforms, and laws at the cost of becoming a potential target of non-revolutionary states. So as they say here, there are going to be special actions, reforms, laws, very similar to situations we've seen through all these dev diaries. But then also the other non-revolutionary states, they're going to look at you and say, we don't want this spreading, as happened historically. We want to protect our monarchies, so we might get a grand alliance or something, and then come up against you, stop you being revolutionary, and maybe get a monarchy back in that country as well. Again, very similar things happened historically. So a follow-up event to this could be this one, the French Revolution. You can see King Philippe VI, and then the leader of the French revolutionaries. After the storm and fall of Paris, the French revolutionaries have declared a civil war against the king. The French revolutionaries might be nothing but a provincial assembly, but its very presence is a very real threat to the Kingdom of France. We must show these upstarts their place, or perhaps they are right. And if you choose that option, you can play as the revolutionaries, so you don't have to stay as your realm.
Okay,
you
cool,
can switch
good.
over and play as the revolutionaries.
Yeah, I'm on my
war,
wireless headset
and then
now,
you
so
play as them. Now the thing is, as we've discussed through all these dev diaries again, is if you play as the monarchy and lose, your game doesn't end. You will then just play as revolutionary France. So again, there's different ways you can play this out. Do you want to lead the revolution?
Boys.
Do you want to try protect against it?
Right,
Are you going to save the game and make sure you win, and then, you know, carry on your game? Or if you lose the revolutionaries, are you going to save scum and go back to your earlier save? And then the next event they're going to show us the Revolution in French Revolutionaries. Bit of a weird title, but that's what it says. As the world around us erupts into revolutionary fervor, the winds of change reach even the furthest corners of the Republic. We fight for the people. This is obviously if you're playing as the revolutionaries. For as long as we are revolutionary, we will receive the following benefits: 25% more manpower, 25% army morale, and then -5 maximum war exhaustion. So obviously you need a little bit of a boost as the revolutionaries. You are going up against, you know, France and his allies probably. So these are going to help you have a bigger army, a better army, and then also that war exhaustion. A very bad modifier in EU5. It wasn't too bad in EU4. I know it wasn't ideal, but in EU5 it really causes you problems. So having -5 of that is a great thing to have. And then if you do continue playing as the revolutionaries, you'll have to fight and win the civil war to proceed. Well, if you keep playing as the regular countries, so in this example as France, you'll get this disaster instead. So you can see the Kingdom of France gains stability investment -1. Population leave rebels threshold +10%, so making it less stable, and then also your population more likely to be in the rebels as well. You can see the different requirements, and then in the next screen you see the situation panel for this revolution in France, the king and the leader of the revolutionaries, the end requirements we just saw as well. You can see the military strength. It's a bit weird how it shows here. I think they use console commands to get it, but it would show you the percentage of how strong each side is. And then each month, 1% chance of clashing authority event happening, and then 99% of no effect tied to this happening as well. There are other events, I'm going to cover that later on, but directly linked to it in a way. And then as we discussed, if the revolutionaries win either through you playing as them or losing to them as the king, you will get rise of the French revolutionary state. And you can see that happening here with the victory of our revolutionary forces. The old government is no more. Whatever semblance of unity and protection it once provided is a long gone memory, whilst its horrors and mismanagement of the French people still linger to this day. And you can see long live the revolution. If you choose this option, well, it's the only option actually. You'll gain 2.5 stability, 5 Republican tradition, and then you can see 2 things related to your parliament. We will add constitutional state government reform, so that will change in this example France to a constitutional state instead of a monarchy. And then you'll also set the parliament type to constitutional parliament as well. So that is a different version of the parliament. You get different bonuses, different effects depending on which kind of parliament That was covered in a previous dev diary in the series as well. The next event you're going to see is the French Revolution. Driven by widespread discontent against the monarchy, economic hardship and social equality, our people have finally undone their shackles and taken power into their own hands. And then again, as this is based on a historical event, you can see in the blue background text there at the bottom what happened historically, onward to spread the ideals of the revolution. And then you can see what this does once you hit this stage of the revolution. During the People's Uprising situation, nearly every monarchy will have their rule challenged by the people and those oppressed by the feudal status quo. Countries that follow the revolution will be able to assist their comrades at home and abroad through unique actions. Countries that seek to crush it will get a special Crush the Revolution casus belli and new actions as well. They're going to cover those in the dev diary. If you are on the side of the revolution, you can spread that to other countries, try cause some problems for them, so they then also become revolutionary. And if you're on the other side, as it says, you can get a casus belli and then attack France or wherever this happens and try crush that system so it doesn't spread further and further across the game map as well. You'll also gain access to new actions such as institute governmental purges, demote local aristocracy, and other actions through the situation panel, as they've shown off previously. So depending on which side of this you're on, if you are a revolutionary, if you are a monarchy, or some other kind of government that don't want this to spread, you'll have different ways to get out. Again, this is the final age of the game, kind of like the end boss of EU5. It's trying to deal with a lot of these mechanics, depending on which side you're on, which way you want to spread this. Maybe you want a revolutionary England, maybe you want a monarchy, maybe a revolutionary Hungary, or a monarchy. You can decide which way you want to go, depending on where this is about as well. So the great power that triggers the revolution is to be its herald, but if more countries become revolutionary, the strongest of these will be the revolution, giving it a bonus of revolutionaries. Herald of the revolution, you can see this here. The time has come and the world is changing.
When we, once we unify Italy, we're gonna, work on building up our navy, or we're gonna work on building up the navy over time, but I think our goal is gonna be to fortify this whole bit and kind of treat it as an island. When he said something about England, it reminded me, because I was thinking, like, you can basically treat Italy as an island if you fortify the passes and build what are these things called? Where are they? And the trick is a little better down here, but in Northern England it's like trade, you know. If you've played EU4, you know them. You know. Okay, cool.
Across Europe, the old orders of monarchies and aristocracies are crumbling under the weight of revolutionary ideas, and you can say, we will defend our ideals. So you're like the leader of all the revolutionary realms. So you can see here, for as long as we remain the revolutionary target, we will gain the benefits of being a revolutionary as well. So again, you can see here, manpower plus 10%, army morale plus 10%, maximum war exhaustion -5. So some nice bonuses here, because you're probably going to be the target of these monarchies trying to take you out. And then, as I said, you will be the revolutionary target. This is the beating heart of the revolution and the most powerful revolutionary country as well. And the next they're going to show us the situation around this. So the People's Uprising, wealth equality, and a declining literacy have led to the rise of individual awareness. And you'll see this happen once we enter this stage. You could have revolutionary Naples, revolutionary, or no countries. Demote the local aristocracy, re-establish the parliament, or to you what you want to if you want to.
So he's got a government form. Let's see what we do with this. I think it might be good on here. Yeah, do it. Actually, I can, we just unlock that, so maybe we'll do. Really gotta be special station. Oh, fuck yeah. We just unlocked the first step in our colonial empire. Okay, let's do this. Some prestige. Now, this spot right here might not be the best, but it's probably gonna be the only one we can reach, I would imagine. Okay, we're gonna pause it so we don't lose this claimed. We might be able to reach down into the savannah, but we'll start a colony here. And then we'll use this to jump to the new world. Okay, cool. Let's get started.
dealing with revolutionary rebels during the revolution disaster. This situation enables two unique peace treaties: reinstate the monarchy and force revolution. All these realms kind of fighting each other at this point, trying to force revolution or reinstate the monarchy on places that have had a revolution. And as we saw before, the situation offers access to new actions such as suppress foreign revolutionists and assist foreign revolutionists again, depending on which side you're on. And all those blue and yellow terms, you can see there, they are tooltips, so you can hover those in game and give you more information. So you're not having to dig through wikis, things like that. So you can see in game, what does this actually mean, what does it do, why do we want to do this, and also kind of work towards being able to do it better if you are trying to do so well. So while the situation is active, control experience the events that should slide. You can attempt to snuff out the revolutionary characters from the court through the Institute government purges action. Once you are revolutionary, strengthen some rebels from the revolutionary action. And you see this here, this is the foreign rebel chains, long process. Often times when active factors, budget for nation, you're embracing our service of the first push to revolution. Now you find out these using this next fans the flames revolution, say that 5 times fast, whispers one rests of louder in our crown. And now the truth begins to surface. It is believed that France is spreading the revolution into the Castilian lands, meddling revolution. This revolution gets progress. Probably it would image here. Politics will join the cause of the Castilian and France and it'll push all the realms. And the rebels get used to the ski way, break around a little bit, and you try rush in and grab some land as well. Again, if it's France trying to steal more space, or maybe towards advantage to try to land as well. All the areas are in this temple, and you still manage to advantage even if you aren't affected by it yourself. The revolutionary country events, so obviously that would be war against the French revolutionaries, depending on which realm you are attacking. This will rally allied monarchies to join the fight. If the revolutionary target is a peace, the monarchy that received a war against the revolutionary country event will start a new war. So there are so many ways you can get that war started. Alternatively, if the revolutionary target is already defending against another monarchy country receives an allies of these random alliances, what happened historically for the most part, they all ally together into one big war and then try to fight back against France. And you can see an example of this here: two arms. We declare the crush revolution and you'll see how it plays out for you as well. You see an example here: arms. We will join the second Castilian French war on the side of the Crown of Castile, and then Castile is opinion of the Kingdom of Portugal, and then again you'll see wars against the revolutionary French Republic, and the other side what we just saw. So this one was joining it on one side. This example is joining it in defense against the revolutionists and trying to fight this as well. These kind of temporary alliances, so you lines for historically, maybe okay, not French English, but you just come together and fight the French to see if you can win well. The revolutionary disaster, the revolutionary chaos. This disaster may occur in a revolutionary country. Public values have been eroded into chaos. Famous example is happening in France. To see for this revolutionary chaos, France are very nice and it's requirements. And each month events, 94% nothing will happen, and 1% of a bunch of different events here. Social reform, republic democracy, the reign of terror in France. Obviously, it's in France with the reign of terror in England, something along those lines, and you'll see the kind of infighting of revolutionists as they try blaming other people maybe if the wars are going too well for them. And you can see another example of this right here: the revolutionary disaster, revolutionary French Republic, a very nice one there. Anti-republican tradition, minus 1.2, so again pushing that even worse and worse, and then you'll see the different requirements there as well. And then we shall be going to show an event around this, so chaos in the revolutionary French Republic. Those who thought the revolution and the republic were the answers for the instability of France are becoming more and more disillusioned, and then you see the options: the revolution must prevail, or take a more considered approach in our situation. You see the revolution must prevail, you will side with the revolution, enable events and opposing monarchies return, you will sided with the revolution. End of this event. It does say the end of the game. This generally means the end of this situation. I'm not sure why it's worded that way all the time, but it does mean literally to the end of the game in most cases. Once you get out of the revolution, that bonus probably does go away. Although maybe in this example it does stick around for a while. You also lose 50 stability, which is a lot of stability, so you're not going to be doing this very lightly. And then you will change your societal values towards plutocracy and away from aristocracy. And obviously just siding more and more with the people and seeing if you can survive if it is going too well for you. And on top of how this structurally plays and how the disaster system works, this disaster also features ambitious characters with great skills. Almost pulling out if you think about it. Well, wait, that's the example I'm going to show us here. It's going about some very interesting glasses. I think it's taking too much and full that stylish. The case of the revolution and the threats of foreign intervention have given ambitious young officers a chance to shine, and that's how McCauley started his rise. And you can see Len's witness his achievements, and then the character, I think looks like good, doesn't he? Corsican, Lutheran, 100, 100, 100. Literally the best you can be in the game. A bunch of traits he has as well. Very cool he is. And then you can also get other historical figures as well. So Roadster here, the reign of terror in France. I'm happy with the revolution. Actions are everywhere. Ever seen an opportunity to call it the fall. This is all about the guilty. All these things happen. Finding out who is causing the revolution to fail. Maybe, you know, some innocent people get caught up in it. You can see that here, execute the enemies of revolution. For the second option you choose, show leniency. That's going to cause the revolution to keep spiraling out of control, and that would be worse than trying to actually go along with this as well. Now, one thing they like here is every country that is not France will also have a slim chance to solve characters inspired by Napoleon. Books here, and obviously other historical characters from this era. So you can have like an English Napoleon, imagine ones like that, or maybe even like a Prussian Napoleon. You'll have like an English name in that example. You'll have similar stats and similar traits and things like that. So it's all focused on France. It's a lot of what they've shown off here. In most examples, you probably France is some version in your game during the Arabic Open. But you'll see as Napoleon, the having revolutionary English Napoleon, and France together. France really what you can see plays out. That's the let me know what you think about it. I think some cool ideas. I think it's different for you. Not get that sale. There's these things happening. We were discussing, then you're going to get this web of like warfare. Not video game list. But with that, hit the like button if you've enjoyed the video. All the reports leading up to the release of it. So if there is anything you see here and you want more information, maybe you've only just kind of heard of U5 and you're just kind of starting this train of information, do go back on the channel. I've got a playlist of everything. If there's a certain feature you want to find out about trading, how the economy works, how the population system works, all these have been covered previously, and there's been dev diaries covering all of these features. So you can go back, listen to those, or even follow the dev diaries. I always link those in the description so you can read them yourself, look through them. So when the game does come out, you'll get more knowledge, and then you get kind of a...
What if you can create your own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix, you can. First up, let's talk.
In 1929 in Chicago, people kept mysteriously dying inside their homes. It took 15 deaths for the authorities to realize that these people were getting killed by their fridges. Because fridges back then were no longer just boxes of ice. Instead, they relied on a chemical, looping through the back to stay cold. And the best chemical for this job was methyl chloride, a toxic and virtually odorless gas. So if it somehow leaked from the fridge, it could kill you without warning. Other fridges used flammable gases instead, so a leak combined with a spark from the stove, and your house could suddenly go up in flames. So one company tried to solve this problem, but in the process, they accidentally created a seemingly magical substance. Soon, it made its way into a huge range of products, which were subsequently ended in America. What people did was that these products came at a price. Because you take them, being into the will poison everyone on the planet, including me.
Or the reader compares to sufficient and complete naming chemicals that are fingerprints back to double compass.
This is a video about one of the biggest chemical cover-ups in history. For legal reasons, I want to note that this investigation is based on publicly available documents, recording third-party evidence, all is in the description. The story all began with an attempt to gas use. One was the toxic more level. The subject was a 27-year-old chemist named Plant. He was experimenting with gas called fluoroethylene. His theory applied Prince on two flame atoms. When his assistant picked out a cylinder full of caffeine from his mouth, but nothing came out. The gas must leak. The cylinder slowly got as a full, the feeder off and cut the cylinder in half. Inside, he was full of white slurry powder. So added to the gas. But chemist with a direct cylinder, one of the blonde things and those two carbon atoms separate. One of them carbon T molecule kissed and all the gas get all the TDE in these chains to catalyze to polytetrafluoroethylene, forming slurry powder because it ruined his Then he tried the strongest base he had, but that but the powder remained intact. It wouldn't melt, or weaken anything. It was seemingly indestructible. The reason it was so indestructible was because of this bond, the carbon-fluorine bond. See, all the elements, fluorine is the grease, the most electron we have. Its outer gel is still electron wave heat to make it very stable. So fluorine really wants that electron. It's small compared to most elements that put nucleus and get close to the electrons of other atoms because they bond. So neutron moves on to carbon attracting to and but then it's found that like the carbon positive, the nuclear section bond. They really behave like class and concentration full. You can this to the longest single carbon bonds. Other molecules they're actually ignored. What particular nuclear carbon so it hardly anything. Okay, so you can quickly bonds were made for taking gas rings for use and both so gas seals must pipe which had to constantly be replaced, slowing the reduction.
Cylinders that you would push into pipe and use to like boom, like natural no match for the natural
the same seals and water. And when manufacturing plants no longer issues the first acid need to make explosive, we must stop to do so keep melting. Nice, man. Do not have record their talent and willing to use their supply the government, but do not struggle to reduce that Teflon to meet the military. As airplane scientists put it, the major advantages of polytetrafluoroethylene, solvent resistant hyperfluoride, are obstacles in the ease action. To limit the Teflon, you add a gas molecule that carbon and start reaction. This called initiate. The form between TF releases some then a bit of energy is also next to the next and process until which has to and get to the previous TF was given fluoromethane, which releases even more energy all at once. This caused a massive split Arlington to 94, killing 2 worse. You need a way to dissipate the heat, make a reaction, and it's staying in there and everything in that close force. But you check again, more gas and dissolve. Even pressure changes these up, but has a collision turn like so slow. We need somebody to circulate throughout the water first, not on in that one, it's still aspirin we can stop. That's called the oil to the catching the acid and oxygen and that's what makes it an acid. And since there were 8 carbons in the chain, DuPont also referred to the acid as C8. The tail end of C8, like Teflon, was hydrophobic, but the acid left water. So when water reinforces the heads water that like don't. They create little bubbles all throughout water, which are virtually frying inside. If you now inject TFE and stir the whole mixture up, hydrophobic gas ends up in the middle of these C8 bubbles. And those bubbles are dispersed everywhere, evenly throughout water. You know what this reminds me of? Is soap. Yeah, so it's the great combiner that allows like oil and water to mix. And now you trickle in initiator molecules. The initiator molecules also go to this happens by overall that she doesn't distill water. And it's how you can process cooking. The thing. How do you stick it to gaskets? How do you use it? What happens is heat up the water.
The war, the Army lifted the secrecy ban. DuPont was partially. It's like all the code every day.
One day, engineer Margaret Watt tried to put to prevent. It wasn't science. Jackets lined with Teflon were one of the Teflon is so inert that medical implants made out of it wouldn't be rejected by the body. It was used to coat the Statue of Liberty's steel framework to save it from corrosion. And even bullets were coated with Teflon to minimize the damage they did coming out of the gun barrel. The term Teflon was so ubiquitous that when the Italian mobster John Gotti was being prosecuted in the late 1980s, none of the charges against him would stick, so he was dubbed Teflon Don. By the late 90s, Teflon did 3,000 years of Teflon is reduced, and its uses will be many. The chemicals were everywhere, even where they shouldn't be. Man with the hammer is Earl Farmer in West Virginia. This is what they expect a man countering where he goes. He suspected something that was poisoning his house. This is 150 ladies on the farm. We need to already know that. We got nothing wrong with these things. I call it 14 back nothing he asked me. Do you have a good running? Earl was desperate, so he hired a lawyer.
Came to our offices armed with boxes of VHS videotapes. Started watching videotapes. Now, there was serious problem here. The animal was in the way, skin bones, we had tumors, black teeth, and you can see in the videotape. White phone coming out of those tapes. The animal's standing on the phone. Hair on the hose was being eaten off by windows and water. It was a discharge pipe that market EI DuPont and Wers Company.
Landfill that pipe was made from belonged to DuPont's mass factory complex outside of Parkersburg, West Virginia, just 6 miles away. The factory was Washington Works, the first commercial Teflon. It had jobs for almost 2,000 people in town, and DuPont's presence was felt everywhere.
I lived in Parkersburg for 48 years. I worked at the company. I think other people like for this police work, stepping, swing, small, and in 20 areas equipped for cookouts and family.
DuPont's took care of the community, so town folk were able to investigate. They shot him and his family.
As a lot, we walked to our and everybody else would but Earl was scared. Was wrong.
I thought this to be pretty straightforward.
The use of protection dictates exactly what was the landfill cleaning amounts.
You get us records and permits and would tell us which chemical was positive. None of the records. Really shown. It really caused nothing explained by phone.
Whatever this water wasn't noticed. Now, already in the 1950s, people knew that Teflon PD was safe. Belonged to their own. Where he wanted to tell us, it seems that this happened to workers in Teflon plants. They would call as they think clear than 6 with them heat and usually all of you. Next, later in the once science tests the rats, and just little 5 milligrams of body caused the rats' livers to grow normal, and they were for swing cyanide, no, even though it was less fatal, it was concerning for 2 other reasons. Fluorines instead of hydrogens. So it's started to see generating for gas and fluorine bonds, human and animal away and so we slowly build up, mimicking the actually things that they read the liver. That all these materials should be handled with exam. In 1992, we pointed that they times of CA cats through intestinal tankers. Then in 1965, they flew the same back in dogs. Evidence was
multiple organ systems, species, studies being shared to the scientific community.
And likely no one outside DuPont would notice something wrong. It's not for tooth decay.
In the 1950s, tooth decay was a so US started adding inorganic fluorides so fluoride to the water supply. This is what
10 years after all children will have 65% less tooth decay.
In 1995, we just found out that inorganic fluoride in blood. For example, blood from around the US and subs were as expected. More fluoride in powder meant more fluoride in the blood.
They found another type of fluorine in the blood too, which was organic fluorine, carbon-fluorine bonds, and it didn't follow the same trend.
These researchers were wondering, where is this coming from? Because this is not a naturally occurring substance. And they did research and they found the 3M was making these organic fluorides, things like PFOA. Right? So they approached 3M in 1975, asking them, hey, we found this stuff in the general U.S. population's blood. Could it be worse? And 3M pled to ignorance.
But just 3 months later, 3M compared the spectrum of organic fluorine from the study to their own chemicals, and it was a match. Their chemicals were getting into the blood of people all across the United States, but they didn't tell the researchers. 3M and DuPont were worried, so they checked their own workers' blood, and they found that they too were contaminated with C8 at levels 1,000 times higher than those in the study. And when DuPont checked their medical records, many of these workers were showing signs of liver disease. Meanwhile, DuPont was making the other issue, and there were 5,001 to see like illegal landfill to Earl's Farm, all allowing commercial disease.
That sends alarm bells off within the company because they're concerned, of course, putting in the air, cleaning the water is tough.
DuPont collected samples around Washington works, and C8 was just in the river using public water supply.
So in 1984, DuPont officials met to assess whether C8 should be swapped for a safer chemical, but their conclusion was that currently none of the options developed are from a fine powder business standpoint economically attractive. So C8 stuck around, and DuPont just came up with a safe dose for drinking water.
DuPont scientists were the first people on the planet to say what would be a safe level for humans. They calculated something like 0.6 parts per billion, which they rounded up to 1. The importance of that is, at that time, that was about the lowest level you could detect in water. Essentially, if we can detect it, it's too high.
So to put in perspective, here is 1,500 liter tank of water. It's filled with Now imagine you take 1 drop of PFOA, 0.05 milliliters, and you place it not in 1 tank or 2 or 3, 20 of these tanks. That's water billion, not number of people thought would be a
And after determining something, DuPont tested landfill wastewater leaching into Pearls Creek. It came back at 1,600 parts per billion.
So at that point, I thought I would have happened to the cow.
Rob compiled the evidence into a 900-page letter and sent it to the EPA purpose and US Mineral.
And just later, several to anti-landfill and so some, again, the rum.
But the stuff wasn't just in the water the cows were drinking. This was in the surrounding community public health, right? People around this campus, this house, we community drinking this, hey, no.
We're also talking about 50,000 people around Pittsburgh who were living exposed to C8, and it wasn't just Pittsburgh, West Virginia.
In year research analyzed blood samples from thousands of Americans all across the country, and hundreds of those samples came back positive for C8, but managed to high properly. But if everyone in the US contaminated, how harmful could C8 really be?
This is exactly what I find out about DuPont. So in 2009, you had next week, and Washington works. Many critics say for requisition being Earl and his wife Sandra.
But finally, in 2013, the had results. The firm called C8 as communities, including thyroid disease, fetal cancer, and kidney cancer. And it's solely on the nearby community, with an average C8 level 20 per billion. So for example, an average area where 1 degree cancer level cancer, it's around 173 cancer. Person with 1/3 billion C8 in the bloodstream have a double beyond. So 1 degree cancer, 1/3 fumes. The data in many of these studies only include a direct public from C8 exposure. So the was finding must be into caution. For C8 on the
late in 2013, DuPont was pressured by the regulators to phase out C8.
By 2017, they had to get over $600 million of C8 vote. But these small parts pay for almost $80 billion in sales just that year.
And all throughout, DuPont denied doing it. But that was the end for Parkersburg, Gore, and else, because DuPont separated its entire business into spin-off chemicals that would use different chemicals. So what was it?
Basically took C8, knocked 2 carbons off, started making C6.
They called it Gen X. Because the shorter, it had to have information, which even grew. So chemworks claimed a dose as high as 70 parts per billion of Gen X, and drinking water was still safe.
That chemical gets shipped to the same place, West Virginia. So Gen X goes into the air. Gen X goes into the hardware. Gen X is found in the water supply. So Gen X let it come out into the world, be used in Teflon. Then the cancer study done shows Gen X causes the exact same three tumors in rats that PFOA did. Liver, testicular, pancreas.
And that change order also makes Gen X more mobile, so it could contaminate large areas. The just don't know about it, and that's another problem.
It took us decades to get to the point of finally addressing C8, to tweak it a bit, change the chemical name, all of the science and all the concern on C8. This is C6, or C9, C4. You don't have enough of this. These ones are at. This is normal. We became addressing one and new hops, and we're told we have to start over.
And it isn't just C8 or Gen X.
They belong to a family of over 14,000 different man-made chemicals, all covered in carbon-fluorine bonds. And companies can make them however they want. C7s, C9s, branched, polymers, acids. The generic term for all these substances is PFAS, per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. And like Teflon, they have almost magical qualities. They repel liquids, so PFAS are used to make clothing waterproof. They're also grease resistant, so we coat things like fast food wrappers and microwave popcorn bags and PFAS to prevent stains. Waterproof lipstick and mascara, hygiene products, and beauty products and PFAS.
Even the screen you're watching on, has a PFAS piece much clearer.
The trouble is that the same carbon-fluorine bonds that make PFAS so stable and useful in consumer products also make them incredibly persistent in the environment. Which is why you may also know PFAS under a different name, forever chemicals. They have been found everywhere, from bustling cities to untouched areas of the woods. Every continent, including Antarctica, has PFAS all over it.
Almost every living creature, from polar bears to birds to fish, and this stuff is being found everywhere. So massive worldwide contamination, but by completely man-made chemicals that are fingerprints back to just a couple of companies.
You know, companies knew how dangerous these chemicals were 50 years ago. They decided not to inform public and regulators. So we're only finding out about this global contamination now. And there have been many cases where important public health information doesn't get widely disseminated for years. And whenever that happens, media coverage can be inconsistent, which is why I partnered up with Ground News